Next up is Hakeem Jones. He is a 7th grader at JFK.
This piece is called We Will Be Free. You brand me and I am not property, the acrid smell of hot metal on my skin giving me 3rd-degree burns, making the surface bubble up, scarring me forever with a false identity. I'm trying to blink away the red haze that threatens to overcome me as the veins in my neck and head throb, though the pain is the only thing I can focus on. I can barely see the man's feet who holds me down, can barely see the night sky and the stars that welcome me to join them if the pain kills me. My face is buried in the floorboards. They smell of sickly sweet blood of my people that has been spilled, and the dirt and grime of our unwashed feet, though not by choice. And I scream at the top of my lungs, making a haunting harmony with those that you whip and beat, forcing them to obey. We cry out, our voices echoing to the sea and the land beyond. Maybe someone heard it, and they knew that salty tears ran down my face, old food being sent back out of my stomach, blood coating my raw throat that can't scream anymore. Maybe they heard the crackle of the whip slicing through the air. Maybe they heard the fire roaring at my back as I am forced to lie next to it as you brand me, though I am not your property. We are not inferior to your supposedly superior. And even though I was there for just a few minutes, it lasted an eternity, because every time I look at this false identity that has been forced upon me, a part of my soul dies. A splinter of my hope, my resolve, my will to survive is chipped away. I'm not quite sure about anything anymore. Not quite sure where we went wrong. Was it somewhere between home and this new death sentence? Not quite sure if life will ever be the same again. But sometimes as I lie here below deck in this cramped space, I dare to hope. I think about what life would be like as a free man. Though I'm not sure if we'd make it because we can't read your language. We only have what lies you give us. Don't get me wrong though. As I lie here, I know we will make it. You beat us, you whip us, yet we still stand tall. You've taken away everything, but yet something inside of me refuses to die. And I know that someday my people will see the light again and our salvation will come. My people will not live on our knees. Free will be the men and women and children. Freedom is on the horizon. Whether it's tomorrow or 400 years from now. So brand me with what you want to, but my mind is branded with the letters Freedom. And I know that someday we will ascend out of the ashes and rubble and rise to claim our right as free humans. We will live as we desire. Someday I will smile again. My eyes twinkling as bright as the night stars, because the shackles that once bonded us will no longer exist. Freedom. Thank you.
Bravo, maestro.
Thank you very much. They prepared 2 tonight, so if it's okay, if I can just have them come on back up, that would be great. Perfect. All right, so Niani.
This poem is untitled. I was lost, learning the hard way that everything in life has a cost. Times are tough, and I felt like giving up. Looking to the world like it's running over, but there was little hope in my cup. The devil had me on puppet strings, preying on my family, my friends, trying to take my everything. How do you rise when you're surrounded by broken spirits? The weights of the world on my shoulders. If there was a God, could he hear this? I remember feeling vulnerable and hopeless, needing somewhere to turn, healing, redemption, focus. Finally, I got on my knees to pray, crying tears of confusion, longing for faith to light my way, wrestling with God. Trying to fight my way out of this madness, I had to realize that this struggle was his plan. Obviously, he had this. The more I learned that this was his fight and not mine, I was able to trust in His will. My life was for Him to define. Then my soul began to seek its purpose. Life without meaning is worthless. When I opened my heart to God's will and His plan, my life and my faith were no longer at a standstill. I began to see purpose in all that I do, and even have faith beyond the everyday trials we must all go through. God had pulled me out of hell and promised me heaven, knowing I'm a born sinner, but He does not deny me His blessing. To me, He is Jesus, but no matter what you may call Him, Jehovah, Yahweh, Father, Allah, by faith we all win. He does not treat us as our sins deserve. We are all His children, and our souls He preserves. We live in a world filled with hate, violence, and greed, yet somehow love can still prevail. God is all we need. No, not the God the religious nuts and politicians would have you seek, but a God who doesn't judge based on the worldly standards of the bigots, racists, and the weak. The God I know does not judge based on race, orientation, class. God holds us accountable for the lives we touch, the heart that gives, and the faith that lasts. So trust Him through your journey, for life's roads have no map. God loves everybody unconditionally, and there is no price for that. Thank you.